You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Oh, you didn't know? Yes, it is. Welcome everybody to the hot tag. Ugh. I felt like it was far away today.
I had to jump further.
Right? Brought to you by the Official Wrestling Museum. We are your hosts. I am Angel, and I'm joined by the Official Wrestling Museum's Hall of Famer,
Low life.
and we are here answering your questions. But before we jump into that, we do want to send our condolences out to Kevin Sullivan's family. He recently passed away, a really big loss to the wrestling community. Brilliant mind, and he will always be remembered.
Yeah, man. Kevin Sullivan is one of my favorite minds in the business. He's such, there's certain guys you gravitate towards. I loved Kevin Sullivan as a booker. Very smart. I mean, from Boston too. His accent always stuck out. I just remember Conan one time talking about him. He's like, "Yeah, Kevin Sullivan, who's got a line on the socks?" He was awesome.
He was a really, really good guy and stuff. Make sure you guys check out the QR code right here. Help us make a National Pro Wrestling Day. With your help, we can make it happen. We already have a professional wrestling day here in Rhode Island for June 13th. So with your help, let's make it national. And also keep a good eye out on the Official Wrestling Museum's website. Places that we're going to be popping up, places that we can go to, and you can see us. We're going to have the camera crew with us on some of the occasions. And it's going to be a really, really fun time. And you never know when we might do a pop-up show that you guys can be a guest on. So do you want to jump into this bad boy today?
Making a hot take.
Oh,
I told you.
no. Oh.
Put this thing down here, man.
Hey, it won't be a hot tag if you don't have to reach.
All right. Let me get my tag team partner in here.
Oh, those spectacles. Did you not cheat today? Oh my God, it's a new day.
All right. Who had a better chop, Ric Flair or Haku?
Ooh,
Well,
that's a good one.
Ric Flair's chop is iconic. I mean,
Yeah.
there's Ric Flair's chop isn't the greatest chop of all time. It's just the most iconic. Like you can't compare a Gunther chop to a Ric Flair chop. Gunther's chop take your head off. Ric Flair's chop is just the iconic chop. He's the guy that made the chop famous, basically. Haku, I mean, I know he had chops, but I don't relate Haku to chops. I relate Haku to being the most a badass guy in wrestling, because any guy that talks in shoot interviews says Haku was the toughest, and Barbarian was right behind him.
Yep.
Older guys might say Harley Race, but they say Haku was the guy. And they say, though, that the only person Haku was afraid of was his wife. So, I mean, in that question, I'll answer it in the sense of Ric Flair had the most iconic chop. Who would I rather... But they also said that Haku would work. Looks like he's killing you, but he was very light.
I heard that too. I remember looking at some Haku chops, growing up and everything. And there was some that was like, wow.
Yeah.
And then other ones, it was like, all right, there was really nothing there. Probably out of the two, I would say probably Flair to be known for.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I
but
think that's
probably
one of the
wouldn't want to
things he's
take it
most
from
known
Haku. Now you brought up Gunther.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think there's anybody that can compare to a Gunther chop.
And the thing that's
Like,
cool
he
about
is, like-
the thing that's cool about Gunther is I've heard him say, like, you know, people just think I go out. He's like, I hate chops. Not that he hates chops, but I hate when guys just go out there and chop. He's like, what I do is an art form. There's a science to it, you know. And you know, some guys do just go out there. Like that's one of the things I hated working is like dudes would always throw you in the corner and just want to chop you or lift your shirt up over your head and chop you. And it's like I couldn't. Not to, you know, there was the thing where people would be like, "Oh, you're just afraid to get chopped." No, I'm not afraid to get chopped. It's just
there's no purpose of it all the time.
You're just doing it to do it. It's stupid.
Yeah.
And
now
like,
here's a question, okay? Because you're a big Gunther fan.
Oh, yeah.
We all know that, right?
Huge.
And talking about chops, you got to remember that picture of his hand, like literally inside that guy's chest. It looked like dough when you're making Christmas cookies, right? Gunther or Rick Fuller?
Well, Rick Fuller has those big ham.
Yeah.
I never worked Rick Fuller, but man, you know who Rick Fuller? I mean, I still would take like Gunther. I don't know, man.
Now Fuller, for anybody who doesn't know, he's a New England legend. Based, you know, from here, started out in NEWA as the lumberjack Rick Fuller.
He went to like WCW,
and he worked WCW, and that was like
enhancement talent there. But he
his
stuck out.
Chops were just brutal. In
you
the
know
ring.
who who threw some big heavy chops back in the day with us? John Fear.
Yeah.
He threw the Big Show type chops.
Yeah.
He chopped me one time in a battle royal. Oh, Max,
chops. Yeah, he had but he was solid, dude.
Yeah, Max.
He was a
and
solid
he loved
guy.
chopping.
Yeah, he really did. But that was an interesting question. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with Flair over that.
I think kind of to alter that question. I think Flair has the more iconic chop. How cool? Like I said, I would not correlate him and chops as his main thing.
All right, Chris from Warwick, Rhode Island.
That one didn't have a name on it. So so whoever that was.
Thank you, Anonymous. Maybe it's like the
Anonymous from Rhode Island.
From Parts Unknown.
From Parts Unknown. There you
I'm
go.
surprised you didn't come up with that. It's a little day for us today. Chris from Warwick, Rhode Island. Who would you pick that could win? Pat Tanaka and Rick Steiner.
Oh man, these weird ones.
Or Paul Diamond and Scott Steiner.
You know what? I'm going to go with Pat Tanaka and Rick Steiner because unless Paul Diamond gets thrown out of the ring and maybe comes up with the Max Moon handguns, I don't know. I mean,
all right,
Pat Tanaka wasn't bad. Bad. You know, that's the thing is like, they weren't a bad in AWA. Bad Company was a pretty good team. I mean, and they were good as the Orient Express. It's just that there was so many tag teams at the time, you know, and you know.
You also got to think too, like the Orient Express, you know, Pat Tanaka, his heritage, where he goes back from far more in his than Paul Diamond, right? I think Paul was always put in those situations where it's like, okay, I'll play it type of thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't giving him that opportunity to showcase. If I had a pick, I'm definitely going to go with Pat Tanaka and Rick Steiner because I don't see Scott working anybody
He'd
but
probably
his
turn
brother.
on Paul Diamond.
Yeah, I don't see him like
Going
on the same team.
Going to the Orient Express again for a minute. They had a great theme song, but also it's hard to push.
Isn't it a part of this show?
Huh?
The opening of this?
It's got to be in there. I mean, we've done so many.
Yeah, if it's not in the opening of this particular show.
If you go to the YouTube page, I made like 20 of them, and it's
check
all
it out.
tag teams. It's pretty fun to listen to and hear the teams, but their theme song also was like any Japanese person had that theme song in WWF. But
it's probably the only one they
I
got
was going to
rights
say
to at the
it's
time.
like 91, 92-ish. It's kind of hard to push the Orient Express because the times are starting to change, and races like. It's starting to be more aware at that time a little bit, so you can't really put those guys over, you know?
No, you can't.
Pat Tanaka, one of your favorites, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, Pat Tanaka.
Also, a little brief thing about Pat Tanaka, he had Goldberg's theme before Goldberg. The theme Goldberg used, he used it before Goldberg, so check it out. It's on there. All right. Oh, wow, here's a long one. Which two wrestlers from WCW would make a good WrestleMania match, but they never wrestled for WWE? Emmett from Cambridge, Mass. Wow, because you got to find out.
Wow, that's
would make a good WrestleMania match.
Match, but
Okay.
didn't work. It said for them, right?
Yeah, that never worked for the company. I mean, one that comes to mind. I got one right. I have. I'll let you guess because I have the match.
You
And
have
yes,
the match?
It would be WrestleMania worthy. And to my knowledge, they never worked the company. So, but I have the match. It's a no-brainer for me.
See, the first person that was going to mind is Alex Wright, for me.
Okay.
And the reason for that is I think that guy has so much potential.
Underrated. He was.
Totally, and I think he would have been good. And I'm trying to see who he can go against that didn't do the jump over at some point. I don't know. Who do you have? What do you have?
All right, so mine is going back a little. Mine would be Magnum TA versus Nikita Koloff. I don't think, to my knowledge, they ever worked. If they did, it would have just been one-offs here or there. Magnum TA maybe, but I don't think he did. So WrestleMania quality match, I think you'd
That
agree.
definitely would have been a WrestleMania quality match, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, though, if they... I don't know. I don't know if they did.
I don't believe they did. So, and that definitely would be WrestleMania worthy. You could also do, well, you said Alex Wright. What about, well, Ultimo Dragon did. If you, Alex Wright versus, do you want to, do you
It
count?
doesn't have to be Alex Wright, but that's
Yeah.
the guy that's coming to my mind because I think he deserved a lot more than what he got, and I think he could have been more of a star.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Stevie Ray never worked WWF. I was going to say Buff Bagwell, but he had that one match.
He did have that one time. Yep.
I think my pick is a winner.
I think it is
Alex
too.
Wright versus, how about Alex Wright? How about undercard, maybe opener, Alex Wright versus Scotty Riggs? I don't think Scotty Riggs ever worked WWF.
I know Sick Boy did some work.
Yeah, he was.
And I was thinking...
He was supposed to be Katie Vick's brother,
Yeah,
from what I remember.
I was thinking Scotty Riggs, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know a portion of those guys jumped over.
How about the Yeti?
The Yeti. I can see the Yeti against Boogeyman or something.
The Yeti versus,
Yeah.
I was going to say Giant Gonzalez, but he's WWF. All right.
What about Kevin Sullivan?
Well, he did WWF just like early
Oh, yeah,
on. Yeah, he
that's
wasn't
true,
like, yeah.
That's true. See, that's the problem. A lot of the guys do like that enhancement,
Right.
jobbing type of thing.
That's what
and
I'm
they
saying.
went
Like
over.
Magnum
It's really
TA,
tough. Yeah.
They might have done some like stuff like house shows, like Madison Square Garden stuff, but they never had like a run in WWF or anything like that. So, I just the best answer you could probably give is Magnum TA versus
Yeah.
Nikita
I think
Koloff.
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, my turn.
yeah.
All right. These are the kind of questions we have to think about today.
That was a good one. I like
Right?
that one.
All right. Ryan from Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Will Lana return to WWE? I'm personally going to say yeah.
I mean, you could. I guess you know the term "never say never." I don't see now that her and Rusev are divorced now, right?
I don't know if it's officially.
But they are.
Yeah.
So even if he comes back, there's really not. I mean, they were a good tandem together when he was first coming up.
Yep.
And then they ruined it with all that divorce angle and all that stuff, and Bobby Lashley and Dolph Ziggler. I could see them bringing her back to, if they re-signed Rusev, to kind of recapture that. But other than that, I
She
don't
can
think
work
there's
with-
really anything for her.
She can work with.
Dragunov doesn't need her.
No, like how about Luvic or Giovanni? You know what I mean?
I don't think they need.
Even Gunther she could work with.
I don't think he needs a woman though. He's
I don't
perfect
think
the way
he-
he is.
I don't think
Plus,
so.
he has a wife that was a wrestler, Ginny.
Yeah,
she was in
but-
NXT UK.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do anything with her.
No.
You know what I mean? She's.
I-
I don't know.
she just had
I
a baby, too.
see Ian. You know, there's some rumors that her and Priest
Yeah.
are together.
I don't
They're really
see-
good friends.
there's so many
You know what I
women-
mean? So I see that way in.
There's so many women. And I know she did look good at times. I don't really think there's a need for her. I mean,
And she's really close with Liv. I could see them bringing her back to do some kind of angle, to do something.
Royal Rumble come. I mean, so for me, I think maybe for me, the most I could see her coming back doing is like a cameo in a Royal Rumble. Other than that, I don't see the need for
What
her.
about like an interviewer?
They have so many now, though. The ones they have are pretty good.
True, they are, but
I don't think she was that good. Like her mic work wasn't that great. When she did her character, okay, but I just say maybe for a Royal Rumble.
All right.
All right.
He likes it nice and close
Let's
to him.
see now. Sean from Providence, Rhode Island. Do
Hey,
you
Sean.
enjoy? Oh man, I love this question because this was going to be in my. We did four corners last week of people we want to see less of.
Yep.
This guy I forgot to mention. He was.
Uh-oh.
This was going to be like my number one. Do you enjoy Booker T calling matches? I put the TV on mute sometimes when I'm watching NXT. You know, when Booker T played around with it in TNA when he was doing the King Booker character
Yep.
over there, and he was doing it as a joke. It was funny, but just like with say, Truth or whatever Santino, whatever comedy gimmick, I think you have to have in doses. When Booker T was doing the commentary, it's like, okay, he comes out for one match. When he comes out, when he does NXT, don't get me wrong, Booker T was a fantastic wrestler. A commentator, no, I can't stand him. I can't stand when he's like, yeah. I don't like how he plays heel sometimes for some people and not for others. I also, when Trick Williams comes out, he does the same thing every time. He doesn't change it up at all. When he's like, yeah, what, all right. He doesn't change it up ever. So
Yeah.
it becomes very robotic, and it's like, I'm not feeling the energy from that because you're not really feeling it. You're just doing it.
Exactly. I agree. I wouldn't mind Booker T doing commentary for a match, maybe two, on a show. For
Yeah.
the whole show, I think, even when he's doing the pre-shows, sometimes, you know what I mean? It seems like it's too much of his character and too much of him instead of what they're supposed to be driving home. You know what I mean?
I'm tired of hearing shucky ducky quack quack.
Yeah, and that, you know what? That's not bad. You know, to hear once in a
I've
while.
never-
but like,
I don't think it's ever
I
gotten
don't
over.
understood where it came from, like the purpose behind it. You know what I mean? I honestly thought they were going to come out with a rubber ducky line. You know what I mean?
Well, what's funny is like with the Celtics, Cedric Alexander, who does the quack, 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 quack. So I don't know. It's just something he had to come up with his own line, just like Slobberknocker. He's does
Slobberknocker.
shucky ducky quack, quack. So my answer is just no. I do not enjoy Booker T on commentary. He has moments, but they're heavily outweighed with the yeah, and I hope that's aggravating because he is.
Five time.
He has a place. I just one or two times, whatever.
Yeah, he's a good like celebrity guest, host of a
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway,
He has a good
we
place
talked
on,
a little
on
too
the
much
pre-shows
on him.
that I don't watch. So
Yeah. All right. David Donovan, okay, from North Kingston, Rhode Island. I am a big NEWA fan from back in the day. The NEWA shows were crazy. Do you remember any stories about fans getting physical with talent?
yeah,
Thank you.
There's a few.
There is a few. I remember a lot of them. You know, you never should cross a line at all. You really shouldn't. I remember one show we were doing at Bishop Henrigan. And back then, I think it's still an old boys school. I'm not even sure. But back then was just basically an old boys school. And me and my tag partner, God rest his soul, Hall of Famer in the Fisher Rust Museum, Jules, we were there and we were supposed to go out there and sell our character out. Well, ours is for females, not guys, but whatever. Make a long story short, we put down the football team because they didn't win for the past 2 years, but they were like undefeated all the years before. So we got done with us, our time in the ring, stuff like that. And for some reason, we weren't allowed to use the locker room, so we had to use a hallway. And then we had to walk down this corridor where the fans were and stuff to get to the bathroom and stuff. So I was done doing what I needed to do. I went to the bathroom, and there was a fan there. And he started talking to me and stuff like that. And he ended up just grabbing me and started choking me. Now, typically, if a fan crosses the line and touches a worker, we have the rights to, defend ourselves, to, do whatever we need to do. And legally, we will be safe within the confines of a ring or in a close proximity of the ring. Unfortunately, this person had Down syndrome.
Yes. I'm not laughing at that. I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at. I remember the situation, and
so
it was
like you got to figure out how you got to.
I mean, this was 20 years ago.
Yeah, you got to figure out like, do I hurt this kid? Do I not hurt this kid? So they end up getting him off and stuff, and they took him out and stuff. I went to the bathroom. Well, then I don't want to say like the person that was taking care of him, like a caretaker. I don't know who the name.
You were gonna say handler, like
I so
like
was.
kimchi.
I so was going to.
Like what I say with.
Yeah.
Like what I say. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were gonna say handler, like.
But, so they come, we're so sorry, he was just trying to defend his school, and he's he goes out with the football team. You know what, it's okay. At the end of the day, I did my job. He was mad at me. I'm a bad guy, what they call a heel in the business, but you just tell him a bad guy back then. I did my job. Water on the bridge, perfectly okay. In fact, the football team, Rock always took us out to eat afterwards, and we got McDonald's that night. And 5 members of the football team walked in, and there was an issue over there with them, too. So, so it happens. Fans cross the line, and they buy into the show, and that's our job.
You would think, like, during the Primal Conflict days that there'd be some issues, but there was never, to my knowledge, a fan issue with Primal. In fact, the fans were part of, I mean, I know you hear it with ECW, but with Primal, it was much the same. The fans were part of the show.
Right.
So they would make weapons. I can't remember a dude's name. He would make the Frosty the Snowman with the barbed wire.
Max,
I just can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Mac Madness. He started to wrestle. In fact, he wrestled for me when I ran Show Pro, and then he started going into referee work.
I
know he did. I don't want to say he blew his knee out, but I know he did something to his knee and stuff.
He was cool with Chopper. Chopper used to film
he was a really good
everything.
kid.
And then, so I know there was another time too. The interns were a tag team, and there was one. The intern went on to be single star with Dr. Dismember, DS member, but before that they were a tag team.
Yep.
And there was one. They were just intern 1 and intern 2, and we used to just call him the fat intern. And Dave Solani, and he punched this one fan in the face. I think it was in Roxbury. I don't know what happened. It was like the show before I started, and I know he punched the guy right in the face. And then the only other really incident, it was in. I think it was in Cranston. I don't know all these towns here. They all bleed together for me.
Cranston.
I think it might have been Cranston. Me and Stryker, it was the first match we teamed up on, and we went up against Dallas Austin and Mark Thunder. And before the show, Dallas Austin had said something about the town, like whatever the town was sucked, and they put the rivals over, and then insulted the guy in the crowd, and this guy came up and he started, I don't know, Rock Joseph gave him a mic. I don't know why. He wasn't part of the show. And so now this stranger who did look very skinheadish, he wasn't, to my knowledge, but he looked it. He's on the mic and he starts talking his trash, and he's like trying to get in the ring to get at Dallas Austin. And meanwhile, Thunder's in the ring, and Stryker's there, and me, and unbeknownst to everyone pretty much, Stryker, me, and Dallas Austin were all related. And then Thunder is like part of our group. So had that guy gotten in the ring, it would not have been a good day. So
You want to get another question in before we wrap this day up?
all right.
Make sure you guys keep sending in those questions. Sending it through our website, social media, and we do our best to try to answer as many as we can.
What happened to the red, white, and blue ropes on WWE rings?
Oh man, I love those ropes.
Peter from Taunton.
Peter,
Mass.
you know what? I love those ropes myself. I thought that that's a traditional thing, but once they went to Raw and once they went to SmackDown, they was just trying to divide everything up. And there's your red, there's your blue.
I don't care what happened. The ropes, the ring ropes. The
You
match,
wouldn't care.
No, the blue ones matched the ropes for SmackDown. The yellow one. Each brand
Why are you
became.
talking about yellow?
Each brand became its own color.
Yeah.
SmackDown is blue. NXT is yellow, and Raw is red. That's
get
what it
that.
is.
Yeah, but the red, white, and blue ropes, those are your traditional ropes. And I think that's...
That's
I
when
think
everything
what
was
it
under
comes to.
WWF. And then each...
I think the thing is, a lot of the fan base right now still goes off of the late 80s, 90s attitude And I think where a lot of the changes and stuff, a lot of fans still want to see things to that nature.
Well, speaking of rings, we'll be able to talk about
We are.
rings.
This
Look at that
week,
segue, huh?
Yeah, that was good. Free preview. We're going to be having a whole brand new one out. It's something special for kids to watch for sure. And we got some special guests that's dear to our hearts coming on that show. But what you were talking about with rings, Figures R Us, this week we're talking about the history of all the action figure rings, what you guys need to know, which ones were good, which ones were lousy. Off the ropes this week, we have a really cool episode that we're going to book the end of 2024, how we see what we thought was going to happen, what we think, I should say, and what we would like to see. So we have a lot of cool things, and you want to tell them about Four Corners this week?
I don't know. Did we decide what we were doing?
I don't.
So tomorrow.
So I don't really know. I was going through emails to see if like they wrote
I
to
don't
us and
think
say,
we,
yeah, let's do this and stuff, and we were
I
talking.
know we had an option of 3 choices. Is it going to be the who was going to be or was being
I don't
pushed
know.
on their vignettes and
Maybe.
I
don't
guess
know.
we'll have to.
Yeah,
I guess
when we
tune in
show
and
up
figure
that,
out what
yeah,
we do.
Yeah, because we're not figuring out till we get there that day. Anyway, thank you guys so much for writing in your questions. Keep sending them in. Scan that QR code. Help us out. And you know what they say. You write the questions.
We got the answers.
See you next week.